इंडिया में प्योर प्ले एआई कंपनीज बहुत कम है.
You're right, जैसे AI कंपनीज इंडिया में नहीं है, so just putting AI wouldn't work.
The Nifty IT index also saw its worst monthly performance in 23 years, and several brokerages are in view that the worst is yet to come.
AI is a very agnostic right now and not yet time tested in terms of error free and all. The easier question is कि कौन नहीं किसको नहीं करना चाहिए.
When can an investor expect this fund to generate alpha?
Ideal time has to be.
Now we have our rapid fire round. You need to answer whatever comes to your mind first. For the next 5 years, IT services or SaaS? Small cap innovators or large cap giants? हम देख रहे हैं recent rally. Tech stocks, they have posted their worst performance recently. The Nifty IT index also saw its worst monthly performance in past 23 years, and several brokerages are in view that the worst is yet to come. Given this context, what is your POV on investing in IT stocks right now?
Interesting question, Kanishka. So जैसा कि मैं पहले ये बताना चाहूँगा कि whatever the technology fund which were coming, ये एक IT fund नहीं है. It is a technology fund where we are covering whole gamut of technologies. So that is the first disclaimer I want to put in point. In point of an IT questions, yes, the ST stocks as an index is down almost 20% in last 1 month, while the risks were emerging for a long period of time. Now we are seeing the AI, which is main competitor, is kind of reflecting the resilience, which is in terms of the usability and all. Having said that, we need to note that IT companies have built up the softwares through time-tested models and everything, while AI is a very agnostic right now in terms of just one layer of this thing, and it is not yet time-tested in terms of error-free and all. It keep hallucinating. We have experienced ourselves that even if I put a same query in a different point of time, the answers become different. Most of these enterprises which are using softwares for their business flow or the workflow are very intrigued in terms of their regulated entities, their different sort of departments, so to say. So just putting AI wouldn't work. We believe, like cloud migration happened in past, AI also presented opportunities for these IT companies to expand their business. And one of the example was the India's second largest IT company in their analyst meet mentioned about the AI opportunity being 300 to 400 billion USD in the next 5 years. So, I believe IT companies years down, there will be winners, there would be losers. We remain selective in terms of getting into very specialized IT companies. So, yes, there's a very good time to find out good opportunity, good stock to add in the portfolio.
Okay, so जैसा भी आपने बोला कि this is a technology fund, this will not just focus on IT stocks. So can you help me understand your thought process and the specific rationale behind the decision to launch this fund now, especially when there is a mixed sentiment, especially around the IT stocks?
बिल्कुल. सो अगर आईटी फंड का अगर बेसिकली LIC टेक्नोलॉजी फंड आईटी की चीज हम बात कर रहे हैं, जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया कि हम आईटी के लिए नहीं है, अक्रॉस द प्लेटफॉर्म है. ऑफ लेट वी हैव सीन कंपनी जैसे क्विक कॉमर्स में है, यूपीआई पेमेंट्स में है. मोस्ट ऑफ दीज कंपनीज आर गेट लिस्टेड इन लास्ट 5-6 years. हमने देखा है और ये बहुत ही मीडिया में अच्छे से कवर भी हुआ है कि दैट मोस्ट ऑफ दीज कंपनीज हैव रिपोर्टेड अ गुड अमाउंट ऑफ अ लार्ज लॉसेस इन लास्ट 5-6 years. बट हमारा मानना है कि ऑफ इन द रिसेंट टाइम बिकॉज ऑफ द इन्वेस्टमेंट दे हैव मेड, दे हैव रीच्ड टू अ स्केल वेयर the benefit of that scale will come on. Some of these companies, we are saying that EBITDA margins or basically the absolute EBITDA or profitability almost tripling in the next 3 years to 4 years. So हमारा यही था कि जब ये इन्फ्लेक्शन पॉइंट पे इंडस्ट्री है, लार्ज पार्ट ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री, जब मैं इंडस्ट्री की बात कर रहा हूँ तो क्विक कॉमर्स है, प्लेटफॉर्म कंपनीज हैं. इफ यू टॉक अबाउट डेटा सेंटर्स एज एन इंडस्ट्री, द सेगमेंट इज एन इन्फ्लेक्शन पॉइंट. The current data center capacity is 1 gigawatt, going to 3.5 megawatt in next 3 years, almost 20% CAGR. तो ये जो इन्फ्लेक्शन पे पॉइंट पे तो हमें लगा कि फोकस थीमेटिक अप्रोच लाना बहुत सही रहेगा, और इसीलिए हम ये फंड लेके आए हैं फॉर आवर इन्वेस्टर्स एंड एज वेल एज यूनिट होल्डर्स.
Okay. Now, since your LIC Technology Fund is an open-ended investment scheme with an investment strategy of TIDE, TIDE, can you elaborate?
The TIDE acronym will define T for technology. It covers the whole gambit of technology companies which are moving the, enabling the physical world to a technology world. Talk about smartwatches, talk about EV companies, auto tech companies. So a lot of these companies were very the sector were very tech heavy, or I mean very mechanical heavy, and that
Mm,
is they are moving to tech companies. So that's why the first stand for T. I is internet and digital. We as in India and globally moving from a lot of physical world to an internet world to a digital world also. Data UPI payments, OTT subscriptions, OTT viewing, in terms of the various system uses which we do, ride hailing apps. So that's why the internet digital comes in. We believe that this industry is also a very inflection point also. Data center, we spoke about it in another earlier question. It's again an inflection point, and that inflection point is coming because of the government's DPDP Act, where government wants the data of India has to be stored in India.
mm,
As people start using more and more data, it will need more and more data storage capacity also. And we are
mm,
seeing Indian capacity to go up to 3.5. A lot of these allied industries, while we talk about data center, it's just a box. There's a lot of allied services sectors involved, be it air cooling, be it hard infrastructure. So all these sectors will again come at an inflection point. And the last but not the least is the e-commerce. We all know about e-commerce, quick commerce, the kind of services, the kind of opportunity, the kind of behavioral things it get implemented into the current human behavior. So that's where the opportunity again comes in. So that's the more this thing. The Tide is a framework which is consists of technology, internet and digital, data center, and e-commerce. So that's the big framework, and that's the universe which we want to invest in our fund.
okay. मैं NFO details में जब I was going through, it includes the potential of InvITs, which is up to 10%. So, can you explain the specific role this specific component would, play in a technology fund?
Yeah, Invit is a basically enabler which we generally take when we launched a fund with the SEBI as such, and it covers the whole the gambit in terms of the trust or the investment vehicles which come to which have a kind of a debt component. It is more of an enabler per se, but as a house, as a team, we are looking more on an equity perspective per se as such, and that would predominantly would be the technology part, and some bit we have kept for the non-technology part as such.
Okay, okay. I have another question. There's this argument कि अभी इंडिया में प्योर प्ले AI companies बहुत कम है. So when you say the fund will invest in companies, data center companies, and AI companies. So what sort of vision can we imagine?
सो इन टर्म्स ऑफ योर राइट, आप जैसे एआई कंपनीज इंडिया में नहीं है, जो भी एआई
Hmm.
मॉडल्स अब जो भी हम देख रहे हैं वो ग्लोबली डेवलप हो रहे हैं, वो इंडिया में हम उसकी बातें कर रहे हैं. बट व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट एआई रिलेटेड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एंड डेटा सेंटर कम्स एट अ फोरफ्रंट. एआई वी ऑल नो नीड्स अ लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ कंप्यूटिंग systems and computing power, and all this is getting enabled by the setting up of a hard infrastructure of data centers. And also some of these software companies or the service providers which would kind of enable these AI or integrate these AI tools in the enterprise softwares, we are investing kind of those kind of companies. In and all, I can only say one thing: as India is growing, as the world is growing, the Darwin's theory applies that everything evolves. At this point of time, when we're talking about a nominal GDP growth of 10%, I believe this sector can grow higher than the nominal GDP growth. And it's a very, very fair fact that anything which is grow higher than the nominal GDP creates value for its stakeholders, its shareholders. And that's the vision we have. If anything grows 15, 16%, we are outpacing the growth of Indian economy. And that will create wealth for our investors and the shareholders.
I have another question. You have emphasized a long-term time horizon for this investment. Now, to be very direct for our listeners, when can an investor expect this fund, to generate alpha?
See, any equity market, any equity related instruments, when you look to invest, it has to be evaluated on a 3 to 5 year journey over a period of time, as such, even be it a rolling return or a time bound, time to time, or a point to point return, so to say. Having said that, when I'm looking the industry prospect and everything as such, and as India is growing from let's say 3 trillion to 5 trillion to 7 trillion, this segment is a newer segment. We have seen these sectors have a multifold earning growth rate in last 5 6 years, and going ahead also we see this sector to be at least, given the segment they are operate to, for a very near to medium term, at least 1.3 to 1.5x of the nominal GDP growth. And if that happens, that will be a kind of a very good period, a very good time period for investors to get return out. So I'm saying ideal time has to be 5 year plus, but someone looking from 3 to 5 year perspective also can look forward to invest in this fund.
Okay. And who exactly should invest in this fund right now? And more importantly, who should avoid? Because, the risk appetite is very high for this fund.
सो द इजियर क्वेश्चन इज कि कौन नहीं, किसको नहीं करना
हाँ.
चाहिए. तो मेरे हिसाब से किसे जो भी नहीं करना चाहिए, जो एक शॉर्ट इन्वेस्टर है, शॉर्ट टर्म के लिए देखते हैं, 1 साल के लिए देख रहे हैं, दे आर नॉट, दे गेट फिजिटी बाय द मार्केट ड्रॉ डाउन, बिकॉज इक्विटी मार्केट देयर हैज टू बी ड्रॉ डाउन ऑफ 10% 20% एवरी ईयर. तो कोई भी जो है जो कंफर्टेबल नहीं है ये टाइप के रिस्क लेने के लिए, उनको अवॉइड करना चाहिए. दैट पर्सन कुड बी 80 year old, that person could be 18 year old. It
Hmm.
depends on person's psyche as such. But if someone is looking to create wealth and someone understand that if something grows higher than my nominal GDP, higher than my inflation, it will add value in terms of wealth addition. And that's where that's the customer, that's the investor we are looking for when we are targeting this one.
All right, makes sense. Now we have our rapid fire round. I'll ask a couple of questions and you need to answer whatever comes to your mind first.
Okay, I'll try my best. Yes.
Sure. So we'll start with first question. For the next 5 years, IT services or SaaS?
IT services.
Okay. Agentic AI's friend or foe?
Friend, it will develop lot many things.
Okay. Market correction, fear or opportunity?
Always opportunity that we have seen in past every time.
Okay. Small cap innovators or large cap giants?
Interesting. I would say innovators, because that there's the, you see the earning potential growing higher than the nominal GDP.
Okay. Revenue growth or margin expansion?
Revenue growth, absolute, makes a reasonable amount of sense.
Okay. And last one is your fund in a word and a sentence.
Tide. Tide is the next theme. That's what we need to run through.
All right. That does make sense. I'm sure our audience would appreciate the clarity. And again, thanks for, sharing your insights.
Thank you. Thanks. It was great to interact and good to be here. Thanks for the Fires for this amazing opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for taking time out and speaking to Fires.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risk. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.